St. Teresa of Avila. Teresa was born 1515 in Avila, Spain, and she died in 1582. She was the great reformer of the Carmelite order and doctor of the Church. Upon the exhumation of her body in 1583, she was found incorrupt, but was almost immediately carved up for relics, many of which are still on display at various churches throughout Spain. For some reason, men just adored my hands once I was dead. My confessor and friend, Padre Gracian, dear, sweet, foolish man, was so overcome at the sight of my incorrupt body he could not restrain himself, but whipped out his saw and proceeded to lop off my hand. To bring back to my convent in Avila, he said. But before it arrived, he'd snipped off the pinky to keep for himself, wore it around his neck every day for the rest of his life. Just couldn't live without me, I suppose. And my other hand, by hook or crook, machinations divine or infernal, ended up at the bedside of Generalissimo Franco, right there between the case that held his glasses and the glass that held his teeth. Every night, after his wife had surrendered herself to sleep's sweet oblivion, he would turn his back on her living flesh and whisper to my desiccated digits, "Buenas noches, querida mía." And I, never one to scorn the sinner, would twiddle my fingers back at him like an old friend waving in the dark. My name is Penny-Anne Beaudoin, and my first book of poetry, is called Holy Cards, Dead Women Talking, and it's about the lives of women saints, a subject that's always fascinated me. I am a woman of faith, but I'm also just about the most rabid feminist you're ever likely to meet. And I found great resonance with these women. Their stories, their traditional stories, of course I needed to research those, but I also put in my own little feminist twist in a lot of their stories. There's a reflection of my rage and my compassion for women who had to step out of their traditional roles, who chafed under the restrictions that were put on them by the church and by their culture and society. And I heard my own voice in many of the poems. The poems are all written in the first person, but it sounds a lot like me.